Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Peter Jennings, and I go by CSURAM88 across the daily fantasy industry. Back again here at FantasyLabs doing another lineup review, first NFL lineup review of the season, which is a lot of fun. This week I'll be reviewing a 1K multi-enter double up, which I think is fun. We'll take a look at some of the top lineups and just ownership in the higher buy-in double ups. Each week I'll be reviewing something different. If there's something specific you guys want to see, please let me know. Hit me up on Twitter or respond here on YouTube, and I'll absolutely see it and try to incorporate that feedback. But let's take a look here first at my teams. I played two teams here, and one thing I will say is I was out in Nashville for the DraftKings Roto Grinders Week 1 party, and it was just it was just madness. I tweeted out that it was the craziest hour before lock that I've ever had. There's overlay all over the place. Tons of tournaments to get into, cash games, all in a lot of different areas, and there's a lot of late news that really did change things. So I was kind of scrambling. I felt pretty good about the cash game teams I ended up getting in. I did make a couple mistakes that we'll talk about here in the lineup review, but let's dive into it. So this team that finished higher one was Stafford. I split Stafford and Dak on DraftKings in my cash games. Stafford, Ware, Yeldon, Cooper, Julio, Marvin, Bennett, Moncrief, and Chiefs D. And if you look through here with the ownership, everyone is relatively chalky with the exception of Stafford and Moncrief and the Chiefs D being very low owned. And I got on them late thinking about just the whole situation, how great Kansas City was last year on defense at home. But looking through specifically, Spencer Ware and Yeldon ended up being the chalk running backs. Yeldon was the big news with Ivory being ruled out. I pivoted to all of the Yeldon. Didn't have Spencer Ware on both teams, which is my big regret. Easy to be results oriented, but had him all week, number one. Played him on my Thursday contests, and he was my guy and the number one rated running back in all the models I was creating. So disappointing that I only had him on 1 and 2, but he ended up being 54% owned. Thought he was right there as the best play. I actually liked Yeldon a little bit more at the very end, but both great options. But Amari Cooper, who had a great game. I was high on him all week. He's one of my favorite receivers. Definitely my favorite overall receiver outside of Julio, Brown, and Hopkins. I was bearish on Odell Beckham relative to other people, given the pace I thought the Cowboys were going to play with. And just the matchup, it's not a spot where Odell's done well in the past. So I had Julio in my next spot. Julio was the guy I was all in on across the industry. 75% owned here. That's just because of Dak and Ware and all the cheap options. He became a borderline must-play. Got in the end zone, but didn't look right with the ankle, so something to monitor there. Marvin Jones, 62%. He was a lock for me. I played him 100% on DraftKings in all my cash game spots. Just a really great option overall with his price and how many targets. I really think he kind of hit his floor here, given everything. And then I went Bennett in both. I had a ton of Dwayne Allen in tournaments because I had luck everywhere, so I wanted exposure to more of the chalky guy in Bennett. I was actually really surprised that New England won this game. I thought New England was going to get crushed by Arizona, which I thought would help Bennett playing from behind, but I never felt good about any tight end, and I just ended up going with what I thought would be the chalk in cash games, being Bennett. And I wish I would have tried to get a little more leverage. I like Dwayne Allen. I played Reed when he was available, but it was really a tough position, and I don't know. That's something I'll have to think about a little bit more. I think everyone's disappointed with their tight ends for the most part, but I wish I would have diversified at least with one other guy with Bennett in both my lineups. Then I played Moncrief at the next spot. I really liked him. He's one of my favorite plays going into the year. I think I'll have him a lot every week, and we'll see what that yields. And then I had the Chiefs defense as the other team. So the team that didn't cash, I went with, I guess, Stafford on this team as well. Most of my other cash game teams were Dak. I played Dak on FanDuel as well. So I guess I went Stafford both these spots. I went Latavius, Yeldon, Hopkins, Julio, Marvin, Bennett, Christian Michael, and the Texans D. Most disappointing player here for me is Christian Michael. I really wanted to get off him. I did love Latavius quite a bit, but I wanted off Michael with the Yeldon news just because I thought there were a lot of other good options. And I guess roster construction just led me to putting in Michael over Ware in this spot, which I'm a little disappointed in myself in. Did play the Texans D, who is really chalk. You can see here this lineup is chalk across the board. Hopkins was a guy that I thought could have a really big game. I thought there was more of a funnel opportunity with Houston, maybe potentially not running as effectively and being able to throw more. I think the Bears are going to be better against the run than they are the pass this year. But I was wrong on that. Lamar Miller got a ton of touches, and something to pay attention to for Hopkins going forward. Lamar Miller, 32 touches, which led all running backs on week 1. So those are my 2 teams. Hope you guys learned something. I don't feel great that I had 2 Staffords. I meant to have 1 Dak here. Again, it was a mad scramble getting everything set correctly at the end with all the news, but pretty happy overall with how I got teams in, considering I was on the road as well. So looking at the top teams, you got Duster, who went with Lamar Miller at 40% owned. That was more of a chalk, and he gets in the end zone. He has a monster game, but he did get all of the touches. Great play going forward. Had Cooper, Hopkins, Marvin Jones Jr., Zach Ertz, who I think is going to be a great play. I'll definitely be on that. Bennett and the Vikings D. I don't mind the 2 tight end option here. I didn't think this was the week to do it with all the value, but interesting constructed team from Duster 10 and a nice result, obviously, with the Vikings D. Let's take a look here at Sahil, because I think Sahil is one of the best players, if not the best player in the DFS industry. And if we take a look at his 3 teams here, that's the final way I'm going to wrap this up. So his first team went with Andrew Luck, who I was a huge proponent of. I played him more than any other quarterback in tournaments. Didn't play him in cash, though, and boy, did it work out for him. Just a huge game from Andrew Luck. If you followed me in DFS for a while, at least with my NFL takes, that was the one thing that went right for me this week. I was very, very high on Andrew Luck. I touted him as, the GOAT and one of the best quarterbacks, and he had a huge game. Tavon Austin was another guy I tout a lot. He did not have a good game on Monday night. But looking through the rest of his lineup, he went with Yeldon, Hopkins, Julio, Sharp, which was interesting. He did end up going with Tajay Sharp, who ended up being 15% owned. There's a stretch there where he looked like he might be one of the top owned guys. With all the value, didn't have to go there. 7 catches for 76 yards, so another person to pay attention to is Tajay Sharp. Dwayne Allen, and then Jarvis Landry, who I like quite a bit. I played him a decent amount in later cash games. Thought Jarvis Landry was a great option with the matchup specifically because Seattle's so good against outside receivers, less effective against the slot, and Landry is a PPR monster. So really sharp team here from Sahil. Next team was a Rodgers team with a lot of the same guys. The one addition is you'd have James White and Odell Beckham. And then here, looking at his team again, he had Odell Beckham, he went with Dak. So diversification from Sahil on all 3 teams with a lot of the same guys in his core. I believe he had Spencer Ware and Yeldon on all 3 of the teams, which I think was the best play without even thinking about the result. I think those are the best running backs on the slate for value. So congrats to Sahil on a good weekend. All 3 teams doubled up there. A great weekend overall for a lot of sharp players. And I think that hopefully we'll be able to replicate a lot of things here at Fantasy Labs for week 2. Felt pretty good about our stuff, and now we have a little bit more data. So very excited here for week 2. Please give me more feedback on what you guys would like to see. And of course, looking to see more Fantasy Labs subscribers at the top of the leaderboard.